Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Israel has moved troops towards the Gaza border to prepare for what it describes as all eventualities and an escalation. At least 83 people, including 17 children, have been killed in clashes in Gaza between Israeli forces and Palestinian groups. More than 480 others have been wounded, many from falling debris after aerial bombardments. Israeli defense forces said around 1,500 rockets had been fired from Gaza into Israeli cities since hostilities escalated at the start of this week. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the violence in Israeli cities was unacceptable and ordered the police to adopt emergency powers.
After decades of oppression against Palestinians.
Earlier, the Pakistani activist Malala Yousafzai expressed solidarity with Palestinians and joined nations across the world in calling for peace. The operator of the biggest fuel pipeline in the US has announced it will resume operations after a 5-day closure due to a ransomware cyber attack. The 5,500-mile pipeline usually carries 2.5 million barrels a day on the East Coast. The closure saw supplies tighten across the US, with prices rising and a number of states declaring an emergency. The pipeline said that it would take several days for the delivery supply chain to return to normal. Long lines formed outside gas stations across parts of the US as there were fears of gasoline shortages. Australia is in active talks with COVID vaccine maker Moderna to establish a domestic manufacturing facility for shots. The announcement comes a day after the country secured 25 million doses of the Moderna jab, as the government seeks to boost supplies to support its delayed vaccination drive. The country has so far administered 2.8 million shots of COVID vaccinations. That is well short of the 50 million jabs needed to fully vaccinate the population. A former ambassador has been named as the first woman to lead Italy's secret services. Prime Minister Mario Draghi announced his choice of Elisabetta Belloni as head of the Department of Information Security. The department oversees the country's foreign and domestic intelligence services and reports directly to the Italian government. Described as a woman of courage, Ms. Belloni led the Italian Foreign Ministry's crisis unit from 2004 to 2008. Tesla has suspended vehicle purchases using Bitcoin, citing concerns over the cryptocurrency's effect on the climate. The company's CEO, Elon Musk, announced on Twitter that we are concerned about rapidly increasing use of fossil fuels for Bitcoin mining and transactions, especially coal, which has the worst emissions of any fuel. Bitcoin fell by more than 10% after the tweet, while Tesla shares also dipped. The African Union mission in Somalia, AMISOM, is expected to remain in the country up until December the 31st, until the security situation is stabilised and elections are held. The decision on the extension of the mandate of AMISOM troops was confirmed in a meeting that was held by the 15-member Committee on Peace and Security. The decision is a relief for Somalia, which has been relying on AMISOM troops to support its security operations since 2007. And finally, to a spa that has given the phrase a relaxing drink a very literal meaning. The Good Beer Spa in Brussels allows people to relax by drinking a beer and sit in a jacuzzi that contains hop, yeast and malt combined with beer. The owner prepares the mixture and then pours it into the jacuzzi, where clients will sit for 45 minutes. The spa says that the yeast and malt will have a rejuvenating effect on the skin. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.